Zin, thank you for coming up with Phoenix today. Awesome to have you here. It's been awesome to know you and learn about your concussion journey and meet your family. And I think you are an inspiration to see how well you've dealt with things and your concussions in the last few years from such a young age. So I think it's going to be awesome for anyone that views this to see how resilient you are as a young man and how you're dealing with your concussion issues. So just if you start off with talking about where you're from, Zin, your age, and we'll get into a bit of history about how you've had concussions from rugby.
Yep, from the mighty Buller, Westport, the West Coast, 22 years of age. I've played rugby since I was a young tacker in under fives. Gone through all the grades and that till under 10s. I had my first head knock, and I was not in a good spot. I was probably out for a good couple of seconds, probably about 40 seconds. And then, went off the field, and then the old man took me to the hospital, and waited around for about 2 hours, and gave me some Panadol and go home, and then just rested. And I think I took the week off of school, and didn't play rugby for about 2 or 3 weeks, just to let the brain rest
and heal. That I've met Andrew, your dad, and he's a great guy. It must have been really scary for a father to see their son like that. Have you had conversations with your parents about those early concussions you had?
I have a little bit. It was definitely an eye-opener. And the recent ones, they've definitely said, wow, it's actually scary.
Cool. So before we just go into the most recent ones, how many did you have during your rugby career, and at what age did you finish playing?
So I had 9 playing rugby, and I had to finish when I was 19 or 20. I had to finish rugby, sadly.
Yep.
I didn't want to give up, but
I know how much you love the game.
Yeah, big fan, massive fan.
Yeah.
I wanted to play for Buller. Look up to my granddad. He's a big inspiration to rugby. He's my inspiration. Just him telling me all the stories for when he played for Buller and that. And it's like, I want to be like granddad. And then going to the doctors after my concussion, my last one playing rugby, and they said no more. I was heartbroken.
Were you?
Yeah, heartbroken.
What age was that, Zin?
20 or 19.
19, 20.
Yeah.
And then do you want to touch on quickly what your granddad, how he was associated with the Buller Rugby Club, because he's well known down there as part of the club?
He's not part of it anymore, but he played for Buller. You should see his museum. It's just full of rugby, and he captained the Buller team, and the West Coast and Buller combined. He played for that, and
What year was that?
Oh, that's we've got to pass on that.
What would it be? 70s?
Yeah, something like that.
How old your granddad?
83, 84.
Cool. Could be 60s.
Yeah.
Between 60s and 80s maybe.
Yeah.
Latest.
Yeah.
60s
Something
and
like
70s.
that. Yeah. The stories he used to tell me, tells me now.
Yeah.
He's told me about 20 times. But it's like, man, I wish I was still playing rugby.
Yeah. It's awesome to see how much you love the game even after the effects it's caused you from, a young age.
Yeah.
Do you want to touch on you had some time off rugby between, was it 16 and 18 or something? So
Yeah.
do you want to touch on the time off?
Yeah.
And why you took time off? Was it because of your concussions, and why you decided to try and get back into it?
Yeah, so I took time off because I thought it'd give my brain a rest and thought it'd make it stronger. I was going to the gym. I was trying to bulk my shoulders up and trying to stop the head from getting whacked round. And yeah, I got a concussion, so I was like, nah, I better rest up and try bulk up a bit more. And then I thought I'd be alright. It took about 2 years off, and then yeah, thought I'd be alright and get back into it. So then yeah, I got back into it, and yeah, it didn't end up going well. My coaches were letting me go on at the last 10 minutes, and then it was my turn to start, and 30 seconds into the game, I was out cold. Yeah.
What sort of knock was it?
Just some guy went low on the other person, and I went high to wrap him, and just whiplash, and yeah, I was out cold.
Whiplash when you landed on the ground?
Yeah, just like hit his chest and bang.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, he hit my chest and yeah, just.
That was enough.
Yeah.
So you finished rugby at 16, took a couple of years off, and then had that collision. Do you remember the concussions you had around when you were 16?
I remember a couple, not too many. Yeah, just just getting smacked, whiplash, and yeah, I can't actually remember a lot of them. Just the first one and the latest ones, I remember.
What was it that made you want to have the time off? Were you feeling groggy or getting
Yeah, I
headaches?
was feeling groggy. Yeah, I was tired all the time and getting the odd headache and yeah, getting lightheaded, and yeah, I thought I'd better take the time off.
And had you spoken to your family about the concussion problems you were dealing with beforehand? I spoke to your mum about that, and she said that you knew she wasn't too keen on you going back to rugby because of the concussions you had. Can you remember talking to her about why you would return to rugby and if you thought you were ready and stuff?
No, I definitely wasn't ready. I just wanted to be out in the field with my mates, yeah, playing rugby, the sport I love. But yeah.
Had you spoken to doctors about your concussion history from a young age, and were you able to get any advice about going back in?
All the doctors told me was just don't ever play again, and I didn't listen to them.
Yeah.
I probably should have, but yeah, I never listened to them because I was just determined to get out there. I was young and fit and just wanted to play rugby, and yeah, it didn't end up going well.
So I guess what was, I suppose, trying to connect with your coaches and understand if you were going to be alright to play. Did you have those types of conversations before you played?
My mum said to the coaches, I don't want him to be playing, and you can't really stop a 18-year-old to, well, you can, but Mum was like, just do whatever you want. And we didn't really know the effects on, well, we knew like it was bad getting concussions and that, but just wanted to play code.
Yeah. Because you love it, obviously, but I wonder how we can improve that in our country where, although that was 3 years ago, what do you think could have been done better now, knowing what you've been through, instead of going back for the second time after that 2-year break? What would it have taken for you to think, right, I don't think it's safe for me to play rugby and not return?
A good sit down with a doctor, like a proper good doctor, and my mum and dad, yeah, I should have listened to them because they didn't want me to return at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I should have listen to them. Definitely listen to them.
Yeah.
I think if I got told from a doctor, like, don't ever play again, the doctor, when he told me not to play, it's like, I'm young, I'm going to do it anyway. But I wish he just gave me a good talking to, and yeah.
And I think it's important that our coaches understand how much it can affect you long term as well. So if they have the education to know, do you think the coast has gotten better with concussion education since you've had your troubles?
Little.
In the rugby circles amongst the players and the coaches?
Yeah. Like, you obviously got to get your 3 weeks stand down now. Go to the doctors, but I think people are just still getting concussions and just playing and not actually like listening. I'm lucky to have you, because you've told me about the concussions and what it can do to your head and that. I just don't think a lot of people on the coast have a good idea now.
Yeah.
Which is, sad.
But smaller towns around the country might not have the right sort of education around what concussion can do long term, I guess.
Yeah. And I definitely think it can be better. Definitely can be better.
It's been awesome to see you so willing to help out and share your stories in.
Yeah.
I think it's really brave of a young man to talk about how you've gone through your struggles. With your last concussion in rugby, do you remember how you felt and how you dealt with that over the recovery time?
Well, I was pretty heartbroken. I was at work. I went to work, so I played rugby on the Saturday, went to work on the Monday, felt like rubbish. I'd have to sit down like every hour or so, because I'd just be lightheaded all the time, and I'd be working under a house and I'd just be lightheaded as hell. And
do you remember how long that went on for?
Oh, good 4 months, 5 months. I've just been lightheaded all the time. I had a headache as well, but that stopped after probably 3 weeks. But the lightheaded was just,
Dizziness?
Dizziness. Yeah. I'd stand up and I'd be, whoa. Yeah.
And you're a plumber's in?
Yeah, plumbing and drain laying.
Yeah.
So I was, that first week of going to work after my concussion, I was under a house doing drains.
Yeah.
And I just didn't really know much about the head knocks, and I just put my head down and worked. But I probably should have. But yeah.
So then between 10 and 16, you had a few concussions that were quite severe.
Yeah.
You had your break. You came back, and within the first few weeks you had another severe concussion, and then how long did those symptoms go for? 4 months, do you think, or?
I'd say 5 months. 5 months of just being dizzy all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how were you with your energy?
Energy was very, very low. I just didn't want to be at work, and just tired all the time, and I had to have a couple of sleeps and get home from work and I'd be asleep on the couch.
Buggered.
Yeah, buggered. Absolutely buggered.
So from that time to you being, say, 21, when did you turn 22? Just recently?
Yeah, in July.
July. So 3 or 4 years later, do you want to just touch on how you've been dealing with post-concussion syndrome and the last 4 years, how the last 4 years was?
Well, I started going downhill, big time. big time. Tried to commit suicide. Yeah, went to the doctors. Got a scan over in Christchurch, and that came back with like bruising, white matter on the brain. And then when I was over in Christchurch, talking to the doctors, they said, "Oh, have you been suicidal?" and that. And yeah, I had to tell them. And Dad was in the room. It's the first time he had heard it. And they asked me how, why I tried to commit suicide, and I said, I don't know, I'm in a dark spot. But I didn't really think it was going to be the concussions, but I 100% believe it's to do with the concussions. Yeah, because I was a happy kid back in the day. And then after that last rugby one, it just I went downhill real quick. Yeah, just didn't want to be here at all. But yeah, just slogged on, went to work, was doing my apprenticeship, going over Christchurch and doing block courses and that. And yeah, I didn't really talk to Dad about the suicide, and we just sort of shrugged it off like men do. Yeah, but recently I've definitely come out about it. Yeah, it's affected me quite a bit.
Yeah. From the time you had your concussion and you said you were getting bad symptoms during that 4 to 5 month period, did you ever feel like you'd gotten over those concussion symptoms, or between the concussion and the symptoms and then being suicidal, do you feel like you were ever right, or
no, definitely not.
It changed you?
Yeah, big time.
What stage after, or how long after that final concussion in 18, when you were 18, till to the first time you became suicidal, how long was that?
Probably about 6 or 7 months later. Yeah, because I didn't know what was wrong with me. Getting dizzy all the time, and yeah, I thought I was just losing the plot. Yeah, I just didn't know what was wrong with me. Tired all the time. Just didn't want to do anything. Yeah.
How were your discussions with your family first, and then how were your discussions with your doctors about what you're going through?
I didn't actually go to a doctor. Like, I didn't really talk to the doctors afterwards about it. The ride home from Christchurch after telling Dad, it was awkward. But yeah, he just said, I'm always here for you and that. And yeah, it was hard. Yeah.
How did you talk to the doctors very in detail with your concussion symptoms after your last head knock, and during when you were 18?
No, not really. I just only talked to the doctors over in Christchurch, and yeah, I never actually went to a counsellor or a doctor about my depression till last year. I had an episode again.
So just so we don't jump away from what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
So do you feel like, or can you recall getting any treatment for concussion from between 18 and being suicidal?
No, nothing. I got nothing at all. Yeah, I didn't get any treatment, which is pretty sad. 'Cause, yeah, I was pretty lost. I didn't know.
And no one was relating it back to your concussions from rugby?
Nah.
So at what age did you get your scan? that showed the damage?
He was 18 or 19. I think it was 19. Yeah, 19.
A year later, or it was obviously after you'd become suicidal?
Yeah, it was, about a year later, a year later, I think, just to see what's going on. And it showed white matter on the head, on the brain.
And then from that stage, so they see that you've got damage from concussions, but I read your report and it didn't actually state if that damage was from the concussion. After your scan, you had a couple more incidents where you felt suicidal, is that right?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about those situations?
Yeah, I'd be in bed and I'd be just laying down and be having thoughts, just constant thoughts of why bother being here. I don't know why they were happening, but I just didn't want to be here. And then last year, I tried to attempt suicide again, in my wardrobe. And then that's when I actually went to the doctors and seen a counsellor, and then they put me on medication. And they put me on medication and said, you've just got mental health issues. It's like, well, there's something else that's causing it. But I'll try the medication to see if that will help me. And then I'd be down in the dumps again and they'd put me on new medication, and it was just a repetitive cycle. Just repetitive cycle, just try new medications. Well, I'll try the new medications, but there's actually something else that's causing it to make me be suicidal.
Were you able to explain to them that you had several concussions prior to feeling down?
Yeah, but they didn't want to know about it. They just said you've got mental health issues, but I've told them that many times that I've had heaps of concussions, and they didn't want to know about it.
Your parents were involved with your doctor meetings and stuff?
They weren't involved with my first counsellor meeting, but they were involved with my doctors, and Mum's been pushing, and she's been like, well, there's actually something that's causing this. He's never been suicidal before. Why is it after his concussions he's wanting to kill himself? And she said, Mum's been a big help.
Your mum's an incredible woman. Your family's really, really cool.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. It's really good that you've got that support from them.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be lost without them.
Yeah.
Honestly, lost without them.
Yeah.
And my girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's
awesome
big
to have
help.
Phoenix's support for you too, Zin.
Yeah, definitely.
I do honestly think you're a great guy, Zin.
Yeah.
It's so cool that you've been able to speak freely about this, because it's crazy to see a young dude go through that from rugby, and just because we haven't been able to educate our coaches and our unions and our doctors enough, you, along with probably many others, have had to suffer in the way you have. And it could have meant your life with just purely by not understanding the damage of concussion.
Yeah. It's pretty scary to think.
Yeah.
Real scary.
So with You said you've had a couple concussions because of maybe the way your brain's probably lost its resilience to getting knocks. Do you want to touch on the most recent knocks you've had in the last year?
Yeah, so it just might have been April or May. I was playing basketball, and it was the first 30 seconds of the game, and apparently I tripped over my teammate and then landed in my other teammate's thigh, and I tried to stand up and stumbled, and stood up, sat on the seat, and I was a bit lost. Couldn't gather any words properly, and then 3 weeks later, I done something silly. I was out drinking. I probably should have been. I definitely should have been drinking, but I went till 30th, and I had a couple of drinks, and then I didn't last long at the party. I was scared people were looking at me. I was looking around the room, I was scared people were looking at me, and I was starting to lose my mind a bit, and then just broke down in tears, left the party, went down the road to one of Mum's friends and said I need help, and then went to the doctors. It was probably about 9 o'clock at night, and I was outside the doctors, abusing Mum and Dad, because I thought they weren't real. I thought people were acting. Then I finally gave up and gave them a big hug after abusing them, and then went down to Greymouth, and they just made me stay in the hospital overnight, and then just came home, and
How long did it feel like you took to recover from that initial head knock, and then when you drank and then had that sort of a outbreak? How long did you recover after that, or how did you feel coming right from that? Did you go back to work after that?
I did, yeah, I did. I think I had a day off and then went to work.
So at that stage you still weren't sure what was going on?
Just wasn't sure at all. I was lost because they were just blaming my mental health, and I didn't know what was up. I was lost, so lost. I wasn't recovered at all. I was obviously still getting headaches and that, and dizzy, tired all the time. And then I'd go to work and I'd have breakdowns all the time. And then I had one breakdown at work and rang my boss's partner and said I need to go home. I'm not well. And I just bawled my eyes out. Just broke down, and then had 3 months off work, just trying to recover. And I feel, when I was recovering, I was just sleeping heaps, and tired all the time, and I'd try to do something outside on my house and I couldn't do it. I was just absolutely drained. Yeah.
How did you go about, I suppose, how long did it take you to get any advice for potentially having this mental issue and connecting it to concussion after that incident?
Well, it was probably when my sister texted you and you rang me and said about the head knocks and what it's been happening, or what's happened.
So I suppose when your sister texted me and then we spoke on the phone, what I said was heard your story and thought that sounds a lot like what I've been through.
Yeah.
And how our symptoms were quite similar. And how did you go about telling the next doctor about, and a specialist that you've seen about, saying, hey, this might be really related to my concussion problems? How did they go with having your mum involved and trying to understand more clearer?
They don't want to know about it.
Even after that?
Yeah.
They still were adamant it was mental health?
Mental health, yeah. Yeah. We went over to Christchurch to get another scan and yeah, it was a waste of time. I was in the room for probably 15, 20 minutes and it was only a specialist I was talking to and it was a waste of time. He just said, you need to sort your mental health out. I'll get an MRI sorted for you, but you've got to sort your mental health out first. And it's like, what's causing it? What's causing my mental health to...
When you're fatigued and having headaches, that can really bring you down for a long period of time too. So from there you've been sort of a couple of times in Christchurch, you've had an appointment in Westport and some concussion assessments in Nelson. Overall, how has your, and just be honest, you can say some good things, what you haven't been happy with, or however you feel, but how do you feel that's gone with, just purely with the understanding, never mind about what treatment they've given you, have they been able to understand that you have had concussion problems and that could be a massive reason why you've got emotional issues and fatigue and headaches?
Well, one guy, I don't even know what he was, but he was some sort of doctor. He told me about like the brain and how many cells and that you've got in there and why the concussion, why you've been getting concussion and how easy it's how easy it is to get more concussions after you've having a few. And yeah, I just felt like it was real repetitive. Real repetitive, and they'd sort of say the same thing.
I remember, was that helpful to at least have them speak about concussions and what they can cause if you have multiple?
Yeah, definitely, because then I started understanding it all. Yeah, definitely it's been helpful.
So from the assessments, and you said you had a cognitive examination or assessment, you've been to a concussion clinic up here. Have you been able to get any treatment since seeing these specialists for your TBI or concussion issues?
No, not really, no. All I was getting was a bit of physio, check my balance out. Yeah, and that's about it. Which is, yeah, I thought there'd be more, but no, that's it. I've had all my interviews with them and we only get like a certain amount of interviews through ACC, and yeah, it's all over. Yeah.
Are you still on medication then?
Yep, still on medication. I want to quit that, but but I don't know how I'd respond if I gave up on it. They got me on this one called risperidone, and it's like a antipsychotic. It's like, well, I'm not actually psychotic. I felt like I'd been shot or something. I was pretty upset that they gave me that. Just sort of...
Are you still taking that?
Nah, I just said, no, I'm not taking it anymore. No understanding about it, but yeah.
Because you've been able to, you had your period where you took some time off work, and was that a really good time for you to get your energy back and reduce your symptoms?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I was determined to just stay at work and that, because I love working. But I'm glad I took the 3 months off, well, 3 and a bit months off. I was just resting all the time, and wasn't doing anything to the house, and wasn't even studying or anything. I was just resting. It felt pretty good, resting, and I didn't like sleeping all the time, but I knew I had to.
That's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wanted to work on my house, but I knew I couldn't. Just resting heaps.
And you've been able to, did you go back into work gradually?
Yeah. So.
How's that been over the last few months?
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Been busy. The first, I was doing 2 hours a day, and that was pretty good. And then I'd have to go home for a sleep because I was knackered. So I knew I still had symptoms, and I'd get the odd headache still, and so I knew I had to take it easy, even though I was determined to do the 8 hours. But yeah, I knew I couldn't. And then I've just started going back on to 8 hours a day, and that's been good. That's been real good. Good to get my mind, and I'm not having any thoughts or all that anymore. I still get the odd thought, but I just shrug it off now. Where I wouldn't, I'd just break down in tears, and I know how to handle my thoughts now. They're a bad thought. Have them there, just let it be with you, and then just try to do something to get rid of it. And it's good. It's been good.
With that, when you have a negative thought about suicide or hurting yourself, do you think it's helpful to relate that to your concussion problems?
Yeah, definitely.
Is that the way you think about it, or what do you think?
Well, now I think, I definitely know it's from my concussions. But it's here now. I get thoughts. I've just got to learn to not act on it. Not act on it, and just let it be there with you till you do something active. Like I'll go listen to music, or I'll go outside and work on my yard, and just try and be active now. Yeah. When I'd have a thought, I'd just break down in tears and try act on it. So now I know not to act on it, and just to listen to music and go do some work on the yard.
Distract your mind, or get busy active with something else. And you're young to have your own house now, Zin. Congratulations. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Put more pressure on me.
You're a busy young man though, doing your apprenticeship and buying your first house and trying to renovate that. It's an awesome achievement while you've been having issues with your health.
Yeah.
I think that really shows how strong and motivated you are to be successful, so that's cool thing.
Yeah, thank you.
So with you did your gradual return back to work over how long?
About 2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then have you got a plan going forward from now, and how are you going to deal with your symptoms, with fatigue, headaches, or your mental health as well, with any sort of negative thoughts? Have you got a plan moving forward?
Well, I'm just trying to be active, and I'm setting goals now. So one of my goals is to walk across from Hokitika and go to the Rakaia River mouth. So that's one of my goals. So I've got goals that I want to set, and yeah, having the house is helping me, because then I'm going to work on my bathroom next year. So that's another goal. So yeah, it's been good setting goals and
keeping positivity in your life.
Yeah.
Tell me about your trek that you want to go on, Zin, and why, because I think that's a really cool thing for the viewers to see.
Yeah, so my brother's got a mate, and he's a real big hunter and gatherer, and I watched one of his videos, and he done it by himself, and it's like, I want to do it too, but I want to raise money and for mental health. Raise money and support other people, young people that are going through the exact same thing. Because there's a lot of people out there that are struggling and definitely need the support, and share my story. I just want to help other people. You've helped me, and I want to help other people. So
it's so cool of you to do that at such a young age, and
yeah.
And I've had a lot of help from others that have had concussion problems too, so I feel fortunate too. How long is the walk?
About 15 days. Yeah.
I hope you're going to get fit for that, mate.
Yeah, I will be.
So how do you think about monitoring your symptoms when you're going to go on that sort of mission?
Yeah.
How are you going to build up? And I guess, so how are you going to manage yourself? But then more importantly, how are you going to understand if you've pushed it too much? And specific to your symptoms?
To be honest, I haven't really thought of it, but I'll definitely think about it. But I think when I'm walking, I'll just put my head down. Like, I'm determined to get to one spot, so I don't like stopping. So I'll just try to get to the other heart. But I definitely got to watch myself. Can't push myself too much.
Yeah.
And just take it easy. Yeah, hopefully I'll be a lot better then to do.
When are you looking at doing it?
November next year.
Okay, that gives you some time.
Yeah, so.
Have to be careful of the dome in the next
Yes.
year, mate.
Yes, I'll be wearing my hard hat.
So you've got a hard hat now?
Surf helmet.
Yeah.
So I wear that under houses now.
When you're working?
Yeah. So.
And you wear that while you're surfing?
I will be, yeah. I've never worn it surfing yet, but I will be.
There's a lot of big surf down south, so you have to...
Yeah.
Is there good surf in Westport?
Yeah.
Does it get big often down there?
Yeah, it gets pretty big. Yeah, real fun. It gets real big. And there's a good surf crew down there. All the oldies, they're real supportive in that.
Yeah.
Just love the young ones getting out there and surfing, and it's a good place.
It is a great place. Awesome community down in Westport and Buller, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
And I guess the surfing community is the same as the rugby community, pretty tight?
Yeah, pretty tight.
Awesome, you can be in both groups, you know?
Yeah. I don't really do the club comps anymore, but when I was a young grommet, I was doing the club comps every week. Well, every month they would have a club comp, and I'm just sort of just going out on my own now and surfing, with my mates. So it's good.
What would you say to young people that have had concussions or that are worried about their concussions and wanting to get back into rugby?
Definitely not worth it. Yeah, definitely not worth it. Your health's more important. You can obviously see a broken arm, but you can't see a broken brain. So that's why it's definitely important to give it up if you've had heaps of concussions. And rugby's not everything. I'm still being a part of it, part of the rugby community, helping out my local rugby club, running waters out, yeah, yelling at the boys, getting nervous on the sideline. Yeah, no, it's good fun.
You were helping to manage the Buller team?
I was back in the day, assistant manager, so they were real supportive. After my last concussion, I couldn't thank them enough. Just texted me like a couple of days later and said, "Do you want to join the Buller team and help out?" And I was like, "Yeah, this is me. This is me now since I'm not playing rugby.
Yeah.
I'll help out, and yeah, I'm loving it."
It's good to hear.
Yeah, loving it.
So I guess a message that we could say for younger people is to take concussion a lot more seriously.
Yeah, very serious.
It can lead to long-term issues, and hopefully, you're young, and I'm sure if you really manage yourself, you'll be able to get your health back and build tolerance with your head, and hopefully we can find some other treatment to help you as well, Zin.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not worth the risk anymore. I've got to be extra careful now. There's things I do, which is a bit annoying because all my mates can do the things I can't do, but that's right. It's life.
So you're not a partier?
I do like the odd party. Do like the odd drink, but yeah, just watching what I do now, and you don't go overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Zin, is that us?
Yeah, I think that's us.
Okay. Well, I'm incredibly thankful that you came up and we got to speak, and how open you are to share your experience. I think that's such a cool quality about you, and looking forward to hearing and looking at your training and hearing how you go with your trek next November.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
appreciate talking to you, man. Thanks for sharing your story with us.
I just want to thank you for helping me out heaps. I really appreciate it. I'm glad my sister reached out to you. You've been a big support, and yeah, can't thank you enough. And Greg.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg, just giving you advice and then giving me advice. You giving me advice. It's been great. It's been great. So I want to thank you.
Keep going, Zin.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Cheers.